Hey, welcome back to my channel. Just kind of want to give you an overview look of all the little things that are going on for the channel. I've kind of got a list of things I'm kind of excited about, but I wanted to give you a chance to kind of see all of the things. I'm going to go to the bench and I'm going to go through a little more detail, a little closer up look. So we're going to transform the Mobula 6 into what I'm going to consider the world's lightest pick, if you will. So we're going to look at doing that, and then we're going to look at two different props, the newer stuff that you're seeing, and then stuff that is about 3 years old. These props are 66 millimeter, and I put them on my what I call this I called this a featherweight trainer, and I went through a lot of different props to find one that was durable and performed really well. So I'm going to test out and see if, I'm basically updating this to, 2020, if you will, by going to the Mobula. So we're going to kind of test those props, see how they're, what kind of differences in performance. We have a SkyStars X120 bolt. We're going to transform to a 3-inch. Right now it's 2.5 inch, and I'm not a fan of this frame whatsoever. We're going to go over to this frame, which is the iFlight iX3 Lite version 3. Okay, I've already done a review video on putting this together if you want a real close look at that frame. And we're going to run the HQ 3-inch, so the 3x2 props. And then we have VTX. I hate this antenna. They solder this on. This antenna moves back and forth a little bit, and you lose your grounding strap. It breaks off, and then your active element is all messed up. So we got some UFL connectors we're going to solder on. I have quite a few VTXs that utilize that soldered method. I hate it. So we're going to mess around with that. And then we have kind of an overlook of some of the pieces and parts that I've found that might be useful if you know that they exist. So I'll go through those as well. So let's jump over to the bench and kind of take a look at everything. Alright, over here on the bench, we'll just quickly get this going here. So the SkyStars X120 bolt, which is a 2.5 inch quadcopter. It runs the SkyStars branded 1106 4500 kV motors. These motors get pretty warm with these tri-props. And these motors are kind of different. I know I've talked to Nick Burns. If you don't have Nick Burns on your channel list, you need to get him on there. Go subscribe him. I'm gonna call him the Micro King. I love his flight style. It's kind of a race freestyle thing going on. But he puts them through their paces, and you can hear it. Really good stuff. So check that out. But basically, I've already kind of went through this frame. I have a video if you want to go check it out, and what I'm planning on doing with it, and I go through some stuff with this. So there's no need to kind of go through it again in this video. But I just wanted to let you know that this is gonna be a really fun transfer. I will do a video on building this up with all these components. Okay, I'm still debating about the camera. If I'm going to go with a smaller, maybe even a nano size camera. But we'll check that out. But yeah, go check out the video on that frame and you'll see all the info on that. So next up is the Mobula alteration that I'm going to do. And that's going to be on a pickle pick frame. This frame you can purchase from Rotor Geeks. They're out of Canada, and they actually are the only ones in stock right now on the Mobula 6. And I was quite surprised to find that they had a package deal where you could get 8 batteries and the Mobula 6 for 99 bucks. We're dealing with beginning of February 2020 here, so that's what it was. All these parts that I've purchased are prior to finding out the issue on this. I do have a video on that if you want to see the resetting factory deal. So I did a video on that. I'm going to do a video on this. Okay, so we're going to transfer everything here. Basically, we're just not going to use this plastic frame. We're going to transfer everything over here. So the props and frame will go into a bag. So this should be really cool for the channel. I think I might get this video done before any of the other ones. So this might be like my next one. And also, I have these props here. So this is your newer, your newer style gem fan props. Okay, 65 millimeter, and they have the hole is a 1 millimeter hole. Okay. You got to kind of keep an eye on that because some of these little motors have a 1.5 millimeter shaft. So these have a hole to receive a 1 millimeter shaft. And what's the cool thing about that is about, I don't know how long ago, but these props have been out for over 3 years. And these props, let me see if I can, these props are pretty pitchy. Okay. Let me show you the gem fan. See if I'm trying to get this focused for you. So that's the gem fan. So that's your newer 65 millimeter prop. And this one is a 66 millimeter. And this prop was for a Parrot, kind of an older style prop, but it has the 1 millimeter. So I'm looking forward to kind of seeing the difference between the two props. Let's just real quick get a weight of these two props. All right, so the older style, opaque red, so 0.42 grams. And then the new gem fan, 0.45 grams. So the older style, a little bit lighter, not much, but definitely have a little more pitch to them. And they're also just a little bit bigger. Okay, enough about that. So we'll do some testing and tuning. I also plan on doing a tuning video, to really get that Mobula dialed in. All right, next. All right, so there's a little camera holder. Okay, so this would be for your little micro camera. So they make a little bracket that comes with the canopy for the Mobula 6. Okay, so this would fit like your Whoop style boards, and then they have this little camera mount that goes in there. So you can actually purchase these separate camera mounts, and that's for the Runcam Nano 3. So this goes on to the Nano 3, and then it mounts inside to the post here. So basically, if you have a frame that has a nano camera receiving or any type of canopy, you can get these little adapters for that camera. I really like the camera. It does a lot better than a lot of other little cameras that I have. So I just wanted to show you that little bracket comes in there, and that's pretty useful for these little 14 by 14 FPV cameras. Okay, so the next thing is, I don't know if you can see this. These are a 5-pack of UFL connectors. Okay, see how that's for your little antenna. Okay, so you can buy these little connectors, and on the other side you can see the pads. Can you see there's a pad on the right and left? That's going to be the ground on the VTX. So if you look at your VTX, see how there's a signal right here in the middle, and then there's a pad on each side. So those are your grounding straps. Okay, and this is your active element pad. So right here in the center is the active element pad. Okay, and then on both sides here is your straddles. So basically, if you've got some soldering skills, you can unsolder this antenna and put one of these on, and then run that nice UFL antenna. And you're kind of saying, you might say, well, why would you do that? Because I tell you what, when you're flying around, you're bumping into stuff. You see that right there? Those wires are broken. This antenna is done. And about every single VTX that I have with this soldered on antenna has done that. So you're flying around, it's like, oh, I got terrible video. Well, when you're flying with other people and you're getting the multipath environment, this is garbage. You know, that active element is not performing the way it should. So by getting rid of this solder and putting one of these on, we're gonna bring our VTX back to life instead of throwing it away or not using it. You know, I'm not even using this VTX for that reason. So that's kind of what's going on with this project. So I'll have that put together. My Rex 80 has that same type of board. I tell you what, the Mobula has it that way, but at least the Mobula has this solid, wire. But you can do this to the Mobula and get some better range out of that. That element is not real strong, okay? But at least it's not the style that breaks off. All right, so those parts are off the list here. And then I wanted to show you this. Look at the size of that. It's pretty small, okay? And the thing I like about this is it's already coated. I mean, you can buy the little regulators. So what this does is you can cut these wires off and you can run your ground and your 5-volt or battery voltage. You can basically run that wire to your battery lead on your 1S whoops or whatever, okay? And then you can power a 5-volt. You'll get 5 volts out of this. I've got a couple of these and they do a great job. So you can cut that off, or you can plug that into whatever you want to. But basically you can cut it here and wire it into your small quadcopters and have a 5-volt out. The cool thing is the voltage going in. So you can run on your 1S battery. So it's kind of a cool little thing, in case you didn't know about that. And then the other thing I want to show you is a lot of people ask questions about connectors. You can pick these up. A lot of places have them. I think I got this from Rotor Geeks. I know you can pick it up in other places, but basically there's 2 type of connectors that you normally see. Okay, I don't want to say there's 2 type of connectors because there's more than that, but just for an example, this is a strap for your ESC to your flight controller, okay? And you can just count the pins on it. So this is an SH connector, okay? And inside this bag you have SH. But a lot of times you'll say, okay, I need to go from my flight controller to my camera, or my flight controller to my VTX, or from the flight controller to another device. And it's like, this doesn't match up. It's not big enough. The other one is different looking. Well, this comes with both the SH and the Pico. Okay, so your Pico blade, they call them Pico blade. The connectors are actually fatter. They're a little bit bigger. So I wanted to let you know that they're out there, where you can get one side already SH and the other side Pico to run from your flight controller to your camera or your VTX. Okay. And then I have a video on the reel pit. You can see how small that is. It's smaller than my thumbnail. I'll admit my thumbnail's, decent size, but it's pretty small. And then the pads on the other side are manageable. They're far apart. You don't have to worry about crossing shorting them out. So it's pretty easy to solder it in. And it's so small. I have a video of putting this in one of my 3-inch quads. It's a switch. It's not just to turn your VTX off. So you can basically connect this to an empty UART. So obviously this is going to be for, a board, more than this. This only has 2 UARTs in it. There's not a whole lot of options on this. Okay, so this is going to be on a flight controller that has an extra UART, and you can have a switch on your transmitter to turn a, device on and off. Okay, and this can handle up to an amp. So it can handle anything that you're basically going to throw at it. You can put it from your battery, 5 volt to 28 volts. So you hook it up to your battery, and then it goes to your, whatever your device is. You can also connect this to the 5 volt out on your flight controller, and you'll have 5 volt out from this. And then you'll have a switch on your transmitter to turn something on and off. Let's say you want to do some LED lights. You don't want them on all the time. You want to on a switch. I mean, the possibilities are endless. But I wanted you to know that it's out there, in case you haven't seen that. Also, we have kind of a cool little package of some stuff here. I mean, this is just for antennas. This is to hang off the back of a frame, and you can run your antennas and your VTX. So it's kind of cool little TPU. But I wanted to show you these. These are great because if you run props out configuration, these are great because when you're running the props out, it throws dirt and grass and all kinds of stuff into your USB of your flight controller. So what this is just a little TPU piece that you stick into your USB. And it'll keep all the dirt and grass and stuff out of there. So this is a really cool thing to find. I got these on RotoGeek as well. But yeah, it fits in there pretty tight, and it's cut out, so it's not going to mess with, bend anything in there. It just slides in there. Yep. And it, it's not going to fall out. Okay. So protect your USBs. I got a whole bag of those, so I can share a couple with my friends. But I run props out on everything. I don't run props in anymore. After hitting Ghost Branch and it totally jumps away from it, and then I can regain and go. And then I had another quad that had props in, and I hit another Ghost Branch, and it sucked onto that branch and snapped the prop, and yeah, props out only. And then I'm sure you've heard of Uma Grip, and if you haven't, I just wanted to let you know that they make this 2mm. So this is pretty helpful when you're doing, really, really tiny stuff like this pickle pick frame. Okay. So you can put some of that on there so you don't have to use real thick stuff. I don't use Velcro. After finding this stuff, you just lick your finger and rub the dirt off, and this stuff is really sticky. It doesn't leave a residue. It's really easy to use. I like the product, so I want to show you that they made a thinner version. Now here's something that I thought was a cool solution. I was at the International Open, 2019 International Open, and I talked to one of the Caddx reps. Have you ever seen a Caddx camera without any mounting holes? There's no way to mount this. Okay? So I haven't used it because I can't mount it into a frame. So I found this, and it's a TPU mounting bracket. It's kind of cool. So basically it has a couple positions that you can choose from. You can mount it up close, or you can push it out of your frame a little bit, or you can pull it back into your frame a little bit. So it gives you 2 options, and it comes with the 2 screws needed to attach it to your frame. But this little TPU, basically, you just take your camera and then obviously try to figure out which way's up, which way's down. Take and unscrew your lens and push the TPU onto the body, and then reattach your lens and tighten it down with your goggles on and get it focused just right. And that will hold your nano cameras in place. Now the So that's a 14 by 14. Okay. The reason why I got it is to finally get this dude into something. But here's a 14 by 14. Okay, that's the RunCam Nano. You put it in right side up. Okay. But yeah, you got your camera in there, and then you can mount it into your quadcopter. And this overall size, oops, is your 19. Okay, it says 20, but the edges will smush in just a little bit, so you can run, you know, a micro in your larger frames. Okay, so I just want to show you that cool little PTU in case you've never seen one before. You know it exists. So yeah, there's definitely some cool stuff out there. I've kind of searched and added my cart for some time, and I found something, and I would put it in my cart, and then eventually I save up some and get it for you and put it in something and make it work. So let's do a video on this guy going into a toothpick style quad with the pickle pick frame, and we'll try to get some info on that. So hey, I appreciate your time. I hope that this was kind of a cool video of some of the things coming up on the channel and some of the things you may not have known existed, and it will help your day. I appreciate your time. If you want to give me a thumbs up and subscribe, I'd appreciate it. And if you hated it, yeah, give me a thumbs down. It all works.